Disney Odd Pod.
I'm Kat.
I'm Dee.
This week, it's the first variance off of the Disney list. And we really need a roadmap.
Into the wilderness.
For this movie. Because it's very strange.
Camilla. From 1994.
Miramax Films presents the story of two women sharing the adventure of a lifetime in a comedy that proves friendship is ageless.
Let us drink liquor.
The critics give Camilla 4 stars and say it's a fond farewell to one of the century's greatest actresses, Jessica Tandy.
I am the Greek Camilla.
Bridget Fonda. Camilla. Rated PG-13.
This movie is really weird. It's very slow, and it's very oddly paced at points.
So, this movie is boiled down into a nice little concentrated cocktail of what was 90s hipster douche.
Correct, sir.
This is the stereotypical 90s hipster douche movie. Because instead of creating an artisanal pretzel, you were a writer and a composer and an artiste, and you'd never compromise your values or make money.
It just was, the dialogue was weird in places.
In places?
Well,
that bitch could not stop fucking talking.
I never expected in a million years that I would ever be in this position. It's a miracle. And I thank my lucky stars and Richard and Lily Zanuck, who had the faith to give me this wonderful chance.
But that was kind of the point, is because she's a pathological liar.
Well, she's just demented and old, but Jesus fucking Christ.
You know what this
repetition,
yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I would be like, wait a minute. Weren't we just here?
This movie is like a weird VHS that your grandmother has in her basement, or your weird aunt has in her basement. In one of those slide-out cardboard VHS things, and you're like, oh yeah, I watched that all the time because it was the only movie my aunt had at her weird apartment.
Right, her weird apartment where she had a bunch of weird colored stuff, and then like one guitar that she played, but you've never actually seen her play at one time.
Yeah, there was different points in the movie where I had flickers of like, oh, maybe this will end up being good. And I did enjoy like the last like 15 minutes of the movie, but that was about it.
I liked Harold, and that was about it.
Because he's the only one that had, like, some
Harold
spark.
was a pretty decent character with a little bit of in and out to him. And, yeah, and a lot of spark to him.
I was disappointed that Harold didn't take the money and run, but whatever.
Although, I do think that the end of the movie, that is actually what happened. Well, that she had the 2 slips, and he ended up getting the slip for the movie, or for the money, back. They didn't really show it.
Oh, wait, that's right. He did. Yeah.
But he got the money.
But did he, like, know he got the money?
Not until he went inside. But she just wanted him to do it. That's all. That's all it was. She wanted him to have the gesture of the $47,000. And she just gave it right back to him.
I thought that she was giving her the money to be like, get away from your husband.
No. And really, the part that they should have focused on a little more and added to at the end is they obviously both moved to Savannah. They were on the beach. They obviously moved into that big house in Savannah. Like, that old man and her went to Savannah.
And I liked the part with the old man. I was like, oh, that's really sweet.
Well, okay, that's the most interesting part of the movie, and it lasts for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay,
let me read the synopsis. So, obviously, going forward, many of these movies you won't be able to watch on Disney+.
You will not watch them.
But this one only costs $2.99 to rent on Amazon at the time of this.
Well, and to be honest, any movie that you want to watch, you can rent on Amazon for between $6 and $2.
No, $2 to $9, basically, depending on the movie.
Yeah, if it's a brand new movie, it might cost $9.
Yeah. Okay, Camilla from 1994. Drama, comedy, cheerful, emotional. Screen favorite Jessica Tandy stars with Bridget Fonda in this feel-good comedy about an unlikely pair who set off on the road to do everything they always wanted. That is so inaccurate of what the movie...
Yeah, nobody was doing anything they wanted at all.
Which is what they should have done. That would have made it more interesting.
But neither of those bitches had anything they wanted. The only thing that Bridget Fonda wanted to do was play quote-unquote play music, but she was too afraid to even try.
You mean she sucked?
Well, and well, that's probably the honest part, is that she sucked.
Her husband's trying to let her down easy. This is a cute hobby. Which was a dick thing to say, but... So, okay. The director, Deepa Mehta. She's more of a Bollywood...
No, none of those movies were Bollywood.
Oh, really? I just assumed.
I clicked on them to make sure.
Okay.
She's Canadian. This is mostly Canadian people.
But she was born in India, though. I did read that.
Yeah, she was born in India, but she was a very low level, and is, well, not now, but she was like a very indie film, almost nothing director. This was the first real movie she directed. Yeah,
I saw she had a bunch of young Indiana Jones adventure TV things, shows, but that was about it.
That was a terrible TV show.
I don't know anything about that, so...
Yeah, I mean, really just nothing anybody's ever heard of. Same with the writer. So, Allie Jennings is the first writer, and when you click on her, it just says, "And Rescue Me," some movie from the 80s.
Yeah, and then the other writer, Paul Corrington, I mean, this is really... He had a couple of TV episodes, but...
Well, no, he had a bunch of TV stuff, but it's all Canadian stuff where the government... This is the fun thing about Canada. They're required to show, like, a large... And same with the music industry. They're required to show or air a big percentage of Canadian-produced content. So the government funds Canadians to make TV shows and movies... So the Canadian stuff is put out, and that's what this guy did.
Maybe this movie's really big in Canada. Maybe it's...
I doubt it. Or actually, well, we'll find out later, but I seriously doubt it. So our star of the film. Camilla Cara, Jessica Tandy, who was on a hot streak.
She had a renaissance in her late 80s. She died like right after this movie.
Yeah. I mean, because she'd done Cocoon, Driving Miss Daisy, Fried Green Tomatoes.
So, in Fried Green Tomatoes, is she the older version of the young chick?
Yes.
What's her face is? Yes. That Kathy Bates' young character is in love with?
No.
No, Kathy Bates isn't the character. It's
the good-looking blonde chick. I can't remember what her name is. Hang on a second. The one that's like the cool kid.
But she's the relationship. She's the older version. She's the one telling Kathy Bates the story, isn't she?
Is she telling Candy? Wait.
I can't remember. And that's going to be the trouble with a lot of these actors in these Miramax and Touchstone movies. I'm going to be like, I know that what they were in that movie, but I can't remember.
Yeah. Jessica Tandy is telling
Kathy Bates the
story.
Well, I guess that it hasn't happened before, but it was great. It was a great experience for me. I have an enormous admiration for Kathy Bates.
Jessica Tandy is such a great lady, and it was an inspiration to work with her, to be around her. I think Kathy learned as much from Jessica as Evelyn learned from Ninny.
You get the sweats and your heart starts to pounding.
And she's the Mary Stuart Masterson.
Oh, she's the Mary Stuart Masterson character. Okay, got it.
I think. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And then Bridget Fonda,
who right before this was on like maybe the bigger, like the smallest but one of the hottest streaks you've ever been on.
And then she just disappears in the early 2000s.
She retired.
Oh, she retired.
Yeah. But when she did Single White Female, Singles, and Point of No Return, those were 3 huge movies, and she was like the hottest actress.
The only thing I know Bridget Fonda from is the movie Lake Placid, which is a dumb creature feature movie that has Bill Pullman in it, and I fucking love that movie.
Well, Single White Female was like the biggest crazy movie of the early 90s.
It's like a thriller movie, right?
And Singles was the most iconic young person's movie of the early 90s.
Okay.
And then, for me, I remember her and Jackie Brown because that was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I wrote that down, too. Her husband, I was like, why does this guy look so fucking familiar?
Yeah, this is probably why she retired, because she's fucking loaded rich.
Who?
Danny Elfman's her husband.
No, Elias Koteas.
Oh, I thought you meant a real husband.
No.
I think that's why she retired, though. She's married to Danny Elfman. Music mailbox money has got to be ungodly for them.
What is music mailbox money?
Well, think about Danny Elfman. He's wrote music for every fucking movie and TV show you've ever seen.
Okay, got it.
And every time they play that on TV, He gets money in the mailbox every single time.
He's like a Larry David, but a music guy, kind of.
Well, we've talked about him before, but yeah. No, well, he's one of the biggest composers of movie music in Hollywood.
Okay, so not as big as John Williams, though.
Right there, though.
Okay. The name sounds familiar.
They may be competing for the amount of Oscars they've each won.
They actually hate each other.
I bet probably, yeah. Well, and he was in Oingo Boingo.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. No, the guy who played her husband, Elias Koteas.
Who was nobody.
We saw him in Greatest Game Ever Played. He's the dad. He's Shia LaBeouf's dad.
Really?
Yes. That's why I couldn't place him, and I was like,
Really?
Yes. He is...
He doesn't seem old enough to be his dad.
No, he's his dad in that movie, Greatest Game Ever Played.
But his dad is such a douche and is barely in it that it's hard to even remember that part.
Well, and then he was also in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live-action movies as, like, the hocky guy, Casey or whatever.
Nobody you're going to remember.
But I used to watch those movies, so
So did I, but I don't remember the guy.
I know, but I think I'm just replaying that.
I saw that fucking movie in movie theaters as a little boy.
He shouldn't have done that. He's just a boy.
The best character in the movie, Harold, was played by Maury Chaykin, and he was actually in real movies like My Cousin Vinny and Dances with Wolves, where he played actual meaningful parts in those movies.
Yeah.
And he was in one episode of Trailer Park Boys where he's the police chief, and he's pretty funny at that.
Oh. He's also in the second Beethoven movie, which is the best Beethoven movie.
I have not seen
Beethoven's second. It's great.
Fair enough.
It's one of those weird movies that I watched a lot as a kid, and I was like, oh yeah, that's where I remember him from.
And then Evil, the other old man, Hume Cronin, was also having a pretty big renaissance of his own in his 80s, because he was in Brewster's Millions, a great movie, Batteries Not Included, and Cocoon.
Which, going right into the fun facts.
Yeah, exactly. That's I was rolling that in. Him and Jessica Tandy are married.
Yeah, and they've been in 13 movies together.
Yeah, and they've been married since like the 30s or 40s.
Well, not anymore. They're
both dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
But this was the last movie they did together.
Obviously, yeah, they're both dead as hell. The only other real fun fact I had was that even though there was full frontal nudity in this movie, it was PG-13. But what nobody seems to bother to mention is the full frontal nudity is from like 100 feet away.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
You can't see jack shit.
You can't see nothing.
The only thing that you can see is that Jessica Tandy's body double is twice the size of her.
Oh, that's not actually Jessica Tandy's booty?
Wait a minute. Do you think that little tiny Jessica Tandy that's
I don't
old
know.
as fuck...
She's old.
Yeah, the person that they had walking into the water was probably about 170 pounds.
I just assumed it was the same person.
No, there's no fucking way. In hell. We'll revisit that later.
I know we will.
Yeah.
I also will revisit that later.
Okay. So, are we gonna...
compose our way through this?
What do you call playing a violin? Like, I don't know, string, bow our way through it?
Let's go with compose our way through it.
Did anybody actually write any music?
Allegedly, Bridget Fonda's character was, but...
She wrote one whiny song that nobody liked. Literally nobody liked.
Yeah, we'll get into that aspect of this later.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go. Got a letter from a messenger. I read it when it came. It said that you were wanted. You were bound in chains. You had loved and you were handled. You were poison, you were pain. Oh no, oh no. You were naked, you were shame. You could almost touch heaven right there in front of you.
we start off in Toronto, and they're immediately going to Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah.
Savannah.
I want to go to Savannah. It looks fucking awesome.
Every chick wants to go to Savannah.
Because it's beautiful and fun.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I mean. But it's like American chick paradise, dream paradise.
Just saying.
I understand. They get the Spanish moms, the yada, 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 yada. So, I got it. And then we get a little scene that she's cheeky, because she gets a little cheeky with the Border Patrol.
Oh, yeah, because she's like...
It's like, oh, this bitch has got a little bit of attitude. Okay.
Where are you going? And at first I thought it was just her boyfriend. It wasn't clear that they were married at first. Their relationship is very strange.
Yeah, to put it mildly.
I didn't really buy it.
I almost thought that they were friends, that he was trying to hit it at first.
Right. But then, after they've settled in, they're, like, walking on the beach, and he's trying to get down, and she's like, yo, you need a condom. And he's like, you expect me to go all the way back? And I'm like, dude.
Well, this is like, what I wrote down is this is like the 90s condom reality check of, like, the AIDS era. It was like the worst time to be alive and sexually active.
But it's just, why, dude?
Why isn't she on birth control if she doesn't want to have a baby?
That is a fair point. That is a good point.
Although, to be fair, there wasn't... I mean, she probably should have, like, one of the... What's the thing?
IUD?
She should have an IUD, but there weren't, like, all of the great options that there are now. Back then, they had, like, that thing that got shot into your arm. Like,
that doesn't work.
Pill that doesn't work and makes you crazy.
They had the sponge back then.
Or birth control pill. Well, yeah.
But the sponge, I think you had to have in the moment.
You have to have with you. So barrier methods are kind of like...
And he's all, like, butthurt about it. And I'm like, well, honestly...
Why don't you suck his dick?
Oh, my God. Sex on the beach is, like, this thing. They're like, oh, yeah, it sounds so romantic. That's how you get sand cooch. Like, that is just horrible.
Well, yeah, sand everything. Sand cooch, sand asshole, sand dick. It's not what you want.
So then it cuts to this scene where Frida just basically, like, they're basically staying in an old school Airbnb, and Frida just like, I'm just going to go up to this house because I hear music. And
I hear a violin playing, yeah.
And she starts socializing with this old woman.
Well, the old lady's just like, oh yeah, let's go in.
Because it's another what it is. Here's a new person she can tell all of her fake stories to.
Mm-hmm. And so she shows off, like, her dead husband's writing room and all of his pianos and all this nonsense.
Right. And then all of a sudden they're barbecuing outside. Vince is barbecuing. And we learn that
she doesn't eat
Frida is not going to eat beef anymore because she was friends with all of the cows. And okay, why is this coming up just now? This makes no sense.
Yeah, why would they have agreed to
Is this the first time you guys have ever had steak together?
Right. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this the whole time. I'm like, so wait, dude, you're trying to hit this and you don't know that she doesn't eat beef?
It's just bizarre.
But it gets more bizarre. The old lady shows up and she's like, oh yeah, I don't eat meat either. And it's like, okay.
And this moment is like when you're at an Airbnb and the host is trying to socialize with you and you're like, could you go away?
But Frida wants it.
Frida's into it.
Yeah.
Because Frida doesn't like her husband that much.
Not really. And we find out they're talking to the son, and at first it seems like the son makes pornos.
He does make pornos.
No, he doesn't. He makes real movies. That's why he's a millionaire, and that the guy's going to be on the campaign to promote his movies. It sounds like he makes pornos.
But then when they went to the set scene, there was girls in, like, really skimpy clothes in the background.
Well, just because he makes stupid, like, Skinamax isn't pornos.
I still think he made porn, but that's just me. That would have been better if he made porn.
I agree. I 100% agree.
And her son is, like...
Well, and there's lots of artistic prattling of them going back and forth and switching, talking to different characters of each other. And it's just like, I wanted to punch myself in the face.
Oh, I did this artistic thing. Oh, really? I did this artistic thing.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is the 90s. This was the 90s hipster. This
is the 90s dinner party where you're the person who is, like, not... Everybody's talking about some book that changed their entire life, and you're like, I never read it.
Right.
Like,
the only thing they could have done to add to it was have, like, a death by chocolate or something.
Oh, my God. And so then Vince gets offered to go make movie posters, so he's
Harry.
like, let's fucking go.
I'm going back to Toronto.
Which I don't understand why her staying there would have been such a problem.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, why was he upset by that?
Because it's just her little hobby, and he wants her with him.
he was being a dick. Like, he really was being a dick.
Well, yeah. Well, and she was being kind of a baby, too. I mean, it's not like she can't write music in Toronto.
She just wanted to hang out with Camilla. That was all it was.
Yeah, which is what she should have said.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, in that moment, she should have just said, hey, I want to stay here and hang out with this old lady.
She's cool.
She's cool, and she plays music. I want to hang out with her for a while. I'll be back later. I'll come back to you. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, they have a weird relationship. That's what I mean. Like, like, how long have they been together? I don't, like, but they're married. But it seems like they haven't been married that long.
But I actually think they've been married a long time.
Maybe like 7 years, 8 years.
That's pretty long. That's as long as we've been married.
Well, but we still like each other. There's a difference.
I'm just kidding.
Fuck you. Oh my god.
So then Frida and see, this is where I thought the movie would actually turn, and it does not. Frida goes out to this bar to play her sad song.
And everybody's like, you suck!
Get off the fucking stage. We want the fun lady with the bagpipes. Get the fuck out of here.
The lady with the bagpipes. That's how bad Frida is. They want the woman with the bagpipes.
Who tells jokes. So
and just the lip syncing was so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
It was really bad. Like, the voice they picked did not match what Bridget Fonda
sounds like.
Yeah, at all.
Yeah.
So she's hanging out with Camilla, and she's like, oh, hey, they're playing... Because Camilla's whole thing is she played this really fancy concert at this theater in Toronto.
Concerto.
Brahms, whatever.
Brahms, yeah. Well, the Brahms, whatever that is.
It's like a symphony type thing. And Frida's all, hey, they're playing the concert again at the same theater. We should go.
We should go to Toronto and see it. And at first she's like, no, I couldn't leave.
You know why? Because she's afraid that Frida's going to find out that she basically fucked up when she was at the concert.
Well, sure. And she's like, okay, only if we can go to Niagara Falls. So they do that. And Harry and the dude don't know about the trip, and they think that they're like kidnapped or lost. This is fucking ridiculous. There was no need to do this part of the movie.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be like a fun road trip thing, that they got on this weird ferry. And I did like this quote where Camilla says, if you see a ferry, take it. Because I like that. If you see a ferry, take it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun thing. And then the car rolls off the ferry, and I was like, oh, great. This is going to be like a fun road trip movie.
Nope, you were so wrong.
I was so wrong. Absolutely so wrong.
Because then they end up getting taken to this hotel by the guy who operates the ferry.
Because he works there, but nobody stays there because it's the off season.
It's the off season, yeah. So, okay, fine. And what's her funk? God damn it. Frida plays her sad song for some people who work at the hotel. And
people that can probably actually play music.
And they're just kind of like, yeah, this white lady's okay.
Nice job there, Becky.
Yeah. Nice, yeah, exactly. That's actually really accurate as their reaction was like, nice job, Becky. Good playing on you.
Well, she's playing a duet with Camilla.
Camilla's playing along, I guess, yeah. So...
Well, back in the room, Camilla, which... This part of the movie is why the end of the movie doesn't make sense. Because Camilla calls Frida out and is like, you don't love your husband.
You're in a loveless marriage, yeah.
And Frida's, I didn't say that. I don't, no, I'm not. And Frida's like, well, that's what you, or Camilla is all, that's what you said, not me. And so the end of the movie doesn't really make sense with this scene. Because why is this scene in here then?
Well, I think, so... It's in there to point out that they need to work on the relationship, essentially.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
Because that's what they both do, like, and in the meantime, they're pulling the car out of the water. Harold and Vince are freaking out because they don't know what happened. Like, are they dead? Are they kidnapped?
And then all of a sudden, Vince is like, fuck the search party. We don't need it. It's fine. Like, I don't care.
Well, the cop points out that maybe you're a fucking dickhead and she doesn't want to be around you anymore. And he's like... Oh, yeah, okay, call the search party off. That's better.
Yeah. And
it's like, I can get a younger chick.
There's a weird scene where Camilla's going to go fishing, but for some reason Frida has to explain to her how to fish.
Yeah, she's going to go, but she doesn't know how.
And then Camilla's all of a sudden like, fuck it, I'm going to go skinny dipping.
YOLO.
And Frida has her bathing suit on, but she takes her bathing suit off.
Yeah, she has a one piece on.
To also go skinny dipping.
Skinny dipping. That was just like for the hell of it.
Over here, you sexy bitch. We've got bottle service. Woo!
But if you notice, if you watch this, the body double is literally twice the size of Jessica Tandy.
I didn't really notice that.
She has this giant ass and and from the side you can see just gigantic tits.
Well, now that you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like,
and Jessica Tandy, if you notice in the movie, probably weighs 95 and a half pounds.
Yeah. Maybe 110.
Maybe 97 after dinner. Like,
yeah. She's around 100 pounds.
She's fucking tiny.
She's an old woman.
And the person that walks into the water is not tiny at all. And it was basically the person that walks in the water is 90s fat. I mean,
yeah,
it was weird. I was just like, what is going on here?
And
then of course they show Bridget Fonda's body because that's what she does. She likes to show her body.
I wouldn't know.
Well, she's naked in I think every big movie she's ever been in.
Oh, I guess there was a scene in Lake Placid where she's running around in her underwear.
Yeah,
so
she's into it.
So they go to this cafe, and there's kind of a funny little scene. I thought it was kind of cute where Camilla's pulling money out of her tits to the phone, and there's like a little boy who's like, she's like, this is why we're so secretive. We have money in there, which I thought was kind of cute.
One of the best scenes of the movie, yeah, because the kid was like, oh my god.
And this was one of those moments where I thought, okay, maybe the movie will take off from here. Maybe it had a flicker just for a fleeting flicker.
But then both these bitches get cheeseburgers who don't eat beef.
Well, Camilla makes a phone call.
Well, yeah, she makes a phone call. And this is where we find out she's faking her own kidnapping.
Right. And they meet this weird Native American guy.
While they're eating their cheeseburgers.
Who, they don't even put up a maybe, I don't know, just, oh yeah, we'll get in the car with you. And he conveniently says, oh yeah, I'm a record producer.
Well, after she's talking, yeah.
Right. And this whole scene, it's very unclear what's his prerogative here with this.
Rape and murder? I don't know.
He, like, breaks into somebody's house.
Or he's basically just going to let her play and be like, oh, I want to sign you to a record deal. Will you suck my dick? I think really was probably more...
Maybe, because, yeah, when she's playing the piano, she notices all the pictures on there are, like, some black family.
Yeah.
And she's like, this isn't your house, blah, blah, blah. So they leave. He doesn't fight them leaving.
That checks out to me, though, is he's just going to move on to the next target.
It's just weird.
Fine.
It was just a very
weird... Because he's like a grifter.
Yeah, it was just a weird scene.
Yeah, it was very... Yeah, it was very weird.
Like, it didn't make sense.
But, whatever. Fine. Then they're, like, walking through some field, bickering, and we get to...
So they go to the train... They make it to the train station because they're hitchhiking.
Well, they hitchhike first.
Right.
They hitchhike to Cincinnati.
And they make it to, like, the Amtrak station.
Yeah.
And there's been these weird interlude scenes throughout the entire movie of somebody making a violin.
Right.
And it's unclear who this person is. And
I thought it was her at first.
I thought it was her, too. And I will say, I did enjoy this tie-in part where she's like, we have to go to Niagara Falls. And they go there, and it turns out the guy who was making the violin was her, like, ex-lover.
Ewald. Yeah. And so, yeah, he was the lover that never quite was.
Right.
They never did it. They never did anything.
Because she was married.
But he was, like, hot on her heels. And she kept saying, like, if you would have come to this Brahms concert, I would have left and fucked you there.
But then it was unclear because of what
But he didn't show up to that one.
But what the son said later...
Those were subsequent concerts. Because remember, all this was before Harold, before this, before that. It was all before.
Oh, right. And then, okay, so he just her lifelong fling.
It was like the one chance before her life changed for him to swoop her up.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then, subsequently, every time she would play that place, Harold would be abused as a child, emotionally by her mom almost leaving him.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Right.
Which is lovely. Just a great thing to do to a kid.
But back at the house...
No wonder he produces porno.
That's what I'm saying. You were saying he doesn't. I say
he doesn't. Well, I mean, obviously he doesn't because he's a multimillionaire and like all that stuff. But we both say it would have been better had he done that.
So back at Mr. Violin Man's house, then of course Camilla sees that Freda's asleep, she's like, okay, great. I'm going to go get down now.
I was really afraid she was going to take her top off.
I was afraid she was going to take her top off, too.
Oh, man, I was like, no.
But
no.
I will say, this scene where they're having the dialogue...
Oh, sure, it was great.
It was the best scene in the movie, because I was like, oh my god, they really love each other. It's so sweet.
And it should have been more of what the movie was about.
It was about their love story, but it wasn't.
So then they go to Freda's house in the morning after this whole lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, here's my music space, which is just this depressing room with a computer and some instruments.
Camilla is not impressed.
Camilla's like, don't spend any time in here, please.
It's
God.
horrible.
Yeah. Just get the fuck out of here. But then it's time for the concert.
Well, and there's this whole side story going on with the two dudes where...
Well, yeah, the dude story is basically you can leave it out. It almost doesn't even matter.
Well, but it does to the end because Camilla...
Well, at the end.
Because what's happening is Camilla... Her son knows now that she's not kidnapped.
Well, when she sent the message about the $47,000,
right.
She's like, oh, it's my mom.
She says, put $47,000 in a violin case and check it at the stand and leave the ticket by this statue
in the angel's arm.
And so when they go there, he tells the whole story to Vincent
about
Freda's
the angel
husband.
And being left there and the childhood trauma.
And the whole time
yada.
You're feeling kind of bad for Camilla, like her son is overbearing and all this, and it's like, oh no, Camilla is just a fucking cunt.
Yeah,
she is a pathological liar, and she basically, like you said, emotionally traumatized her son.
Over and over again.
Because he's saying, oh, the dude would pull up in this sweet car, and then I'd be like, Mom, don't leave. Don't get in the car.
And then she'd come back to him, and it's like, wow.
Like, haha, just kidding.
Yeah, haha, I could leave you at any minute, you little...
She also tells Bridget Fonda's character, when I first played this show, because she was going on and on about how this show was amazing, and she was wonderful.
Oh, yeah, that she screwed up this one part because she didn't rosin her bow right.
And that she then messed up the easy part because she was so thrilled she got through the hard part and there was a guy laughing at her.
Well, because of the part that she screwed up with the rosin.
Right.
The guy laughed and it just screwed her up for the rest of it.
But like you said, she clearly played there multiple times.
Yeah, it was...
that was unclear.
So the whole thing just made no fucking sense.
Because if you screwed up, why would they want you to come back?
Well, okay, I can get if you screw up once and they want you to come back, but if you screwed up that one time, why would that affect you so badly?
You feeling better, Ocho?
Like, especially if you played subsequent concerts.
Yeah, you
like, why would you still be so upset? Because when she's watching the concert, the chick is playing it perfectly, and she, like, gets too emotional, and she's like, okay, bye, and gives Freda the ticket. And you think it's the ticket for the money. At least I thought it was the ticket for the money.
Well, right. Well, you missed the one little tiny important scene where Harold's like, dude, you treat your wife like shit. You need to knock it off.
Oh,
it's the one tiny important scene.
Right.
He's like, dude, you're an overbearing cunt. Knock it off. Like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
The guy's like, what?
Well, Vince is just an idiot. Like, he's a big doofus.
Total idiot. So then, fast forwarding, there's the son is the goalie essentially of his mom running away.
Okay. That's why this part, I did like this part, because then Bridget Fonda's in the background. Run, Camilla, run!
And for some reason, Vince helps her run away, even though he has no background into why or anything else.
Who the man is in the black car.
Well, I guess he knows the man in the black car story, but why would he be rooting for her to actually go at this point?
It doesn't make sense. It's fine.
Like, wait, what? Or unless he just hears his wife saying go, and he's like, oh, I'm going to back up I guess. But none of that checks out.
No. And then, you get the scene where Camilla's looking back at her son, and Harold goes, get in the car, Mom.
That makes sense. He's like, get the fuck out of here. I don't have to deal with you anymore.
Yeah. And
I'm old and rich.
Goes and gets the violin, but you don't know it's the violin or the money, even though I thought it was the money.
Well, he's like, I don't want to know. And he says, I don't want to know.
What it is.
He doesn't want to know if the old lady decided to give them some money or the violin. He's just like, I'm fucking out of here. I'm going to go pick up whichever one got left for me, which ended up being the money, because the old bitch gave her the violin.
And she's like treasuring it. And oh my god, it's so great, even though I don't play the violin.
Yeah.
But...
And then the old bitch gets in the car, the old man made her a violin, and they end up back in Savannah on the beach.
Yep.
The end.
The end. So wait, but it's not clear that Bridget Fonda and Vince moved to Savannah.
No, they didn't move to Savannah.
No, okay, that's what I thought you meant at first when you said that. I was
No. The old man and the old lady moved to Savannah.
Yeah. Well, and at the very end of the movie, Bridget Fonda and Vince have like an emotional, like, we both need to be better.
I guess, yeah.
Scene.
It was fine.
It just wasn't...
It didn't even... that was so bad and so stupid it didn't even register.
Well, because her husband didn't do anything that was redeeming. Like, that's what I don't understand, because they made it out like she wasn't really in love with her husband, and then all of a sudden she loves her husband again.
And that he didn't really love her either, actually.
I was rooting for them not to be together. That would have been a better ending.
I thought that's what was going to happen, because remember the warning that came up was like graphic sex scene that never happened?
Did it say graphic sex scene?
Or just some kind of sex scene.
It just said nudity, I thought.
No, it was like
but there
some
was
kind
no
of
sex scene.
Exactly. I was waiting for her to find some dude that she wanted to actually be with, and that never happened.
But it would have been better
if they'd have been like, peace out, bros.
If they would have just like mutually agreed to go pursue their own things.
Because it seemed like that's what they both wanted to do anyway.
If you would have had some heartfelt, like, I'm holding you back, like you...
No, I'm holding you back. No. Oh, okay.
Well, whatever. Like, that would have been...
But that's what I mean. Like they both mutually realized, like, hey...
We're not right for each other.
It's like... Or we were, but now it's time to...
And they could have had another dude that they met somewhere on their road trip adventures. Like, instead of that weird guy they met...
I think she needed to go out.
But I'm
she
saying,
a guy.
Then a guy could have pulled up in a car, and she could have gotten in the car.
Maybe he could have had a chick or something. Something
like that. Because he could have had, like, maybe the police officer was a lady.
Yeah.
And they met, and then he sees the police car pulls up because she, like, found a clue or something. I don't know. And then and then Bridget Fonda says, "Get in the car, Vince." Yeah. That's how it should have ended.
Come on, sugar. It's like a sassy black lady from Georgia.
That's actually the house that the guy broke into. Somebody broke into my house, and I found your wife's fingerprints all over my grandfather's piano. My grandfather was Ray Charles. Anyways.
Okay, so do you have any awards to give out?
I have a couple. I have a new one. This was not the nudity you were hoping for. Because you got excited at the beginning of the movie and you're like, look, nudity. And all you get is a fake Jessica Tandy ass.
Right, and I will just go ahead and add in my award of this is the body double 2 times the size Tandy body double award. And this will just be going forward like the weird, because now that we're going to have a bunch of action movies and stuff, there's going to be weird stunt doubles and stuff where we're going to be like, what the fuck? So yeah, this is like the weird stunt double award.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad body double. I also had another one. This is the Road to Nowhere award. Because it's a road trip movie, but it doesn't go anywhere. Nothing happens. And it could have been a really cool movie. Like, it really... They had some of the pieces there, but it really...
They decided not to pick them up. They're like, oh, look at all these pieces. Let's leave them on the ground and go somewhere else.
It really could have been a much better movie.
Yeah. My second award is the 90s Called About Their Tropes award. Because, holy shit. This is the everybody talks about the stereotypical awards. This really is the stereotypical 90s bullshit that nobody talks about, but definitely no fucking way. Like,
it just, yeah. And then I had the Soul All Notes and No Song award, because for a movie that's supposedly so focused on music, there was no music in it. There was no good music, like, nothing.
I actually thought about having that one in there, too.
Like, it's a movie about music at its heart. There should be a lot of good music in it, but there was nothing.
You would think.
Nothing.
So my other award was this movie could have been an email or 2 barbecues. So they could have had 2 barbecues where all 4 of these people got together, and they could have figured this out in those 2 barbecues, and everything could have been done like that.
I thought about that one too.
There was no email back then, and an email wouldn't really work for this. But really, had they hung out 2 or 3 more times, all of the problems that arise from this movie could have been solved in those 2 barbecues.
Yeah,
would have been just okay, cool. Over, done, awesome.
It's just not great.
No, it's just, it's talentedly bankrupt.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah. Do you get any surprises or disappointments?
Everything was just so gray and repetitive, horrible. Like, I just didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah, it's a surprise and a disappointment because I was like, oh, a movie that's not Disney but is Disney, like, this is going to be interesting. I just was surprised by, like, the slow, methodical pace because I kept feeling like, okay, it's going to pick up now. It's going to pick up now. Oh, she met this old lady. This is going to be fun. Oh, they're going to go on this trip. Okay. Oh, they think that they're kidnapped. Okay, this is going to be wacky, like, cool. Nope. Okay. And I kept thinking that something was going to happen. Like, something was going to take off, and it just never did. So that was very disappointing.
Sequel? Anything?
Most of the first part of the movie with the Vince and whatever and Frida should have been cut out. Yeah. And it should have just been more focused on a road trip movie and the love story between Frida and the old guy. That should have been the focus of the movie. And Vince and Frida should not have ended up together, like we already discussed.
I think somebody should have gotten murdered. I don't know who, but it would have been better if somebody got murdered.
Oh my god.
And there's like a whole mystery element to it. It would have been better.
Okay.
Any final thoughts?
Not really.
Yeah,
no.
me neither. It was that.
But it wasn't like...
No, it's bad.
It's bad, but it wasn't like I'm never going to watch it again, and I would not recommend anybody watch this movie. But it wasn't like painful. It was just.
I disagree.
It was just slow.
It was so fucking slow that it was pretty painful.
I don't know. I think it could have been worse.
Okay, fair enough. Did you get a budget?
I did actually. The budget was $8.5 million.
Whew, man, that's nothing.
But they made $250,000.
Wow, that actually checks out.
They made no money.
They less than made no money. They lost a shitload of money on this horrible thing.
Yeah.
Wow. That
was just the box office, though. So that could have been like an opening box office.
No, they didn't make any money. Nobody's ever heard of this movie.
It was hard to find on Amazon.
Yeah. It's so bad that nobody wants to watch it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you are. So what do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie? This is where it gets real interesting.
For the critics?
Yeah.
I'm going to say like I feel like this maybe is, I don't know, maybe like a 57%.
No, nobody likes this movie. It's 44.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of surprised.
And with the people, it's 39. Like, it's not good. Not good.
I'm surprised.
What's your score, Kat?
I'm kind of right in that range. 41%. Or 4.1 out of 10 fake Jessica Tandy booties.
I fall a little below that range. I'm at 30%. This movie sucks.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
I think there were a few things that I liked a little bit more about this movie than you did. I found the relationship between the two old people delightful, and I just wanted more of that. So that kind of made me a little higher than you, I think.
Fair enough.
I like old people love. I think it's sweet.
All right, now it's time for Kat's favorite part of the podcast.
I mean, is it? I can't guess anymore. I have no... I mean, it's exciting because there's so many different options now, but like...
Yeah, there is no more frame of reference.
I can't guess. I have no idea.
So this time it's number 235.
Is that older than this one?
Yeah.
What's the year?
Let me see, I gotta get to it. Oh, no fucking way. Fuck you.
I was searching your face for something of recognition.
Oh!
What's the year?
You're never going to believe me. 1991.
Why am I never going to believe you?
You just won't believe me.
Okay.
You have any guesses at
Is it some movie that you really wanted to watch?
Fuck yes. It's maybe the movie I wanted to watch the most.
Oh, is it Son-in-Law?
No.
Okay.
Number 235 from 1991 is What About Bob?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh my god. We've both seen this movie, though.
Who cares?
Because isn't this the one with Bill Murray where he, like, goes and stays with that family or something?
Well, stays with is
because it's like his therapist or something?
Stays with is a generous term, but yes, that is correct. With Richard Dreyfuss, his therapist, who's also trying to be really famous.
Right.
One of the funniest movies ever made.
Well, I only saw it the one time, so I can't comment on that.
I will say with confidence, one of the funniest movies ever made.
Oh, okay. Say with confidence.
Yeah, said with confidence. What is wrong with this sheet? Wow. What luck.
What luck. You're right, I don't believe you. Just kidding. No, I got you. Wait, why does it say 960?
That's how many movies there are.
Oh, got it.
So, wow. Yeah, we obviously have 100, so, cool.
It's not going to be 100. You don't know that.
I know that.
When's the last time you watched it? Exactly. You can't remember.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It wasn't as long ago as you might think.
Okay. Well, we will find out next week on What About Bob?
One of the funniest movies of all time. So yeah, in the meantime, you can like, subscribe, take a look at our list.
Yep, and leave us a review on your platform. 5 stars. And yeah, we'll catch you next week with What About Bob?
In the meantime, this has been Disney on Pod.
I'm Kat.
I'm Dee.
Bye!
Ready spaghetti, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like that restaurant in Mukilteo where it's like the spaghetti that you can like drive through?
Oh, I don't know. But I did just remember I had this weird... There was a doll that I had. It wasn't really a doll. It was like an action figure. But it was a thing that was popular for a hot second. It was called Betty Spaghetti. And the commercial jingle was like, have you heard about Betty? Betty Spaghetti. And you could like change her head with her body and like different outfits. And like it was like a plastic. And she just had long spaghetti like hair.
Ew.
Plasticky like... You heard about Betty? Betty Spaghetti. Anyway, it just reminded me of that. I haven't thought about that in years.
Well, they should have been like what is it? The Honey Boo Boo, and made it like Betty Sketty.
Oh, what?
You never watched that, did you?
Did I never watch Honey Boo Boo? Why the fuck would I ever watch Honey Boo Boo?
Because it was a train wreck.
No, I don't like that kind of shit. I don't like reality shows like that. I like reality shows where they're actually doing something.
The first like 5 or 6 episodes were worth watching because it was so horrid.
No, and her mom makes me really uncomfortable. Like,
well,
just her face.
That's
like,
the whole thing. That was the whole point.
No, I did not watch Honey Boo Boo. I've seen enough clips to know what it is, but I did not watch it.
And Sketty was margarine, noodles, and ketchup.
Ew.
Yeah, it was really rancid.
That was like a weird insight into white trash.
Well, that's what I mean. That's
America.
It was a very specific like 3 months. You know what I mean?
Wasn't Duck Dynasty popular at the same time?
I think just after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Just after that, because I didn't do anything with the Duck Dynasty, but the Honey Boo Boo, I had to. I mean, and then South Park did the Honey Boo Boo thing. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I get enough of what it is to understand the reference.
But if you really watch it, then you're like, holy shit! Like, whoa.
Well, anything to do with child beauty pageant world is just
didn't really have much to do with that or anything actually.
It was just them being trashy.
Yeah, her 3 or 4 daughters and her.
But that was like, there was a ton of trashy reality shows.
Husband. Yeah, because this was like at the same time as My Strange Addiction. It was like when TLC really popped off.
And that was when they had that John and Kate +8 thing.
Yeah, it was probably around the same time as that.
And Little People, Big World, or whatever.
I think that came late. I think both of those might have come a little later.
Sister Wives like popular?
I think it's a little later too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was like they had a reality show for everything.
Yeah, that was the TLC popping off. It was all TLC.
They went away from like actually interesting reality things, like the trauma show that was actually interesting, and
Junkyard Wars. Junkyard Wars is the best.
Things
show
like
on TV.
that were actually good. We want to have Honey Boo Boo.
They should have Junkyard Wars again.
That was
this
just
time
like
not cook it.
Junkyard Wars. Was that like Storage Wars?
No, they'd have two teams of people that were like engineers or builders or something, and set them loose in a junkyard where they had to build this machine to do a specific thing.
Okay, because I remember watching Storage Wars where they would
bid on... Storage Wars is rad.
It is rad, because it's like, what's going to be inside?
Yeah, but that's also a pretty cooked show, too. I mean, it's not really real. But I did have a spell of that for like 5 minutes.
What about Ice Road Truckers?
No fucking way.
What about Pawn Stars?
I would watch that with my brother off and on.
You know what show I used to like? The one where they would, I think it was on MTV actually, but where they would pimp out the cars. Pimp My Ride.
Well, yeah.
Was it Ice-T?
No. I just heard an interview with him, and he's a really fascinating guy, actually.
It's one of the... Who is it?
Is it Method? No, it's not Method Man.
Hold on. This is important, and then we'll get going, but I just...
It's one of those guys, though. It's not Ludacris, I don't think.
It's Exhibit.
Oh, Exhibit, yeah. Yeah.
I used to love Pimp My Ride. I was like, oh man, I want to have a car and Pimp My Ride someday.
See, I never did,
as I rode a bike.
Ridiculous. Like, there's a goldfish pond in my car now. I don't want that.
But that was kind of the point. It was on right after Cribs, and
I always wanted something practical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, can I have a brand new Honda Civic, please?
I loved that. And there was some other show where it was like My Millionaire or something, or like it was just some guy narrating about things that a bunch of rich celebrities owned, and it was something about having or a bunch of rich people owned, and like stats about rich people and shit. It was a 28 minute weird thing. I don't remember what it was called, but anyways, it was fascinating.
I mean, the first one of those was in the 80s. What was that show actually called? Hang on a second. Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. That's what it was called. The show with Robin Leach.
No, it wasn't Millionaire Matchmaker. It was something...
No, that's way later. That's like...
Wait, maybe it was the Rich and Famous thing you just talked about.
They may have had a reboot of that back then.
Yeah, it was on for 9 seasons. Yeah, it was called The Fabulous Life of ... And each episode would just be like a series of celebrities. Like 3 or 4 different celebrities about just different things they owned. And it was like Cribs on steroids.
Cribs was ridiculous and also cooked.
I liked Cribs.
Well, yeah, I did too. Everybody liked it. It was a good show.
I thought you were saying cooked like it was a bad thing, like it was overdone or like...
Well, no, it was fake. They faked a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like when people would open their fridge and it'd all be like this 1 or 2 brands of this thing.
Yeah.
That was all
product placement.
Yeah. And some of those people didn't own those places. They were like rented just to do the Cribs thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was cooked. Cooked. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.